Hey guys, happy Friday and welcome to Morning Joe with me, Jim. And today, no real slides, just two quick stories, right? When the market is changing, like it is right now, um, you kind of want experience because things do change midstream or mid flight, if I will. So it's kind of like piloting an airplane, right? Have you ever been on an airplane? I'm sure you have, where you hit a patch of real turbulence. I remember I was on a plane once from Dallas to Amarillo, Texas. Don't ask me why. I was. And it was a storm going on. It was real turbulence. One of those where the plane would drop and bam, it just felt like it was just keep on dropping, right? Over and over while the pilot tried to find smoother air. And I remember there was a big guy, big buff guy in the seat right cat corner in front of me who was crying, like literally sobbing. And the stewardess had to come and sit on the edge of his seat and hold his hand and say, everything's going to be okay. And it is. And it was. And we were all nervous. I mean, look, we were all nervous, to be frank. But you trust the pilot, right? To say, yeah, and the stewardess in that case and everyone else to say you're real professionals. So, two quick stories. So, yesterday we had a closing and it went smooth. I mean, we were clear to close, I don't know, several days in advance. And, but it was new construction. And the builder had the CO, the certificate of occupancy, which is what a builder needs to be able to say what the county says, we've issued it, certificate of occupancy, we can occupy this property. Someone can occupy this property. It's done. It's complete. That's what it means. The home is complete. So they had it, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago, something like that. And then right before closing, like literally 13 minutes before closing, sent an email and said, none of the closing's off. And I was like, why? And we couldn't reach anyone. And we called and I don't know why. The builder said it's off. So in this case, it was the real estate agent, a very, very good real estate agent that I love working with, who just started digging because I couldn't reach anyone. I wasn't at closing. I was at the office and I was in meetings, but in between I was calling a little bit, but I couldn't reach anyone at the builder. But the real estate agent just dug and dug and dug and dug. And I haven't talked to her since closing, so I don't exactly know how it went, but she said, done. We're closing. Buyer has the keys. We're good. So I can't wait to talk to her today and figure out what she did there. But, and I don't know why. My point in saying that is, if you work with real professionals who have experienced this before, we'll get you through any humps, any bumps in the road. And sometimes they happen. It does. There's a lot of moving parts in it, in a home purchase, a lot. But an experienced pilot knows how to get out of the turbulence and find smooth air again and smooth it out and work it out. Even last minute stuff like that. Can't wait to see how she piloted that plane and got to calm air again. But I'm anxious to find out. Another story. Again, two sides of the coin, right? We're all working together to make this happen. And an experienced loan officer and realtor team will get you there. So we have a non-QM loan. Non-QM is someone who doesn't qualify for FHA or Fannie Mae type loans, traditional, what most people do, frankly. It's like a bank statement loan for a self-employed buyer or something like that, right? Well, we have one of those going on right now, and I've been watching the mortgage market. It's been tight. It's been in turmoil. Let's just say we've hit turbulence in the mortgage market. We have. And I prepared this buyer from the beginning, said it's new construction, it's going to be a long process, and it's non-QM. And the mortgage market's going to hit patches of turbulence. It just is. So be prepared for changes at the end, not from our perspective, not saying, well, we think, but from the lender's perspective, because so on non-QM, we're not the direct lender. We broker those loans to another lender. Very good group that we work with, but they sell to a hedge fund. And the hedge fund behind them says, things are tightening. We're changing our guidelines midstream, mid-air, right? We hit turbulence. And what they said was this particular buyer was getting gift funds for part of the down payment. And the lender said, had cleared it for closing that part. All the funds are clear. We've reviewed them, they're fine, and then came back and said, no, they're not fine anymore because we've changed our guidelines. You have to have 6 months reserves, meaning the payment times 6, sitting in your bank account, but it has to be borrower's own funds. It can't be gift funds. And so went back to the buyer, said, okay, remember when I said we'd hit turbulence? We just did. Now, let's find smooth air again. And we work through it. They have their business has a couple other accounts that we hadn't had, et cetera. So we're verifying all that. That's fine. So it's not pleasant when it happens like the week of closing. It's not what we want. But in a turbulent market, an experienced loan officer and an experienced realtor know there's going to be some turbulence, but we also know how to navigate around it and get you around it and get you to a smooth landing and into your home with a smooth closing. So I know there's a lot of really good people out there, loan officers and realtors but they're newer in the business. They haven't seen turbulence. Face it. In 2020, 2021, except for the beginning of COVID there, we didn't hit turbulence. Everything was smooth. Everything was easy. But before that, we had several times, and we've experienced this before. We've seen it. We know how to navigate through it. We know how to get you to a smooth landing and a smooth closing, even if we hit turbulence during the process. And we might nowadays. I mean, there's 2 examples. I don't know what happened in the first one. I'll find out. It'll be interesting. But she navigated it to a smooth closing on the day it was supposed to close. Same with us, with the mortgage side, with this non-QM loan, navigating to a smooth close. So my point in saying that is, it is a changing market. Trust a pilot and co-pilot, if you will, to use that analogy, who have navigated these skies before and can get you to a smooth closing and a smooth landing and into your home. If I can help you pilot that ship, pilot that plane, or ship, I'd love to. Reach out. We can start a pre-approval today. We don't do pre-approvals that don't close unless you lose your job in the meantime. Can't help that. We had that back in February. Beyond that, we'll get you to a smooth closing. We know how to navigate these guys. So let's help with the pre-approval today. Have an awesome Friday. See you soon. Bye.